Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Edward Otto Zelke, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. As queer spaces continue to close, Ramrod celebrates 31 years with a new Mr Ramrod. Since its opening in 1994, Ramrod has been an integral, if seemingly seedy part of South Florida. It has always been the kind of bar where no one cares who you are or what you're into, as long as you don't care about those things in others. It is also a long-running home for the South Florida leather community. Since 1995, the bar has hosted the Mr Ramrod contest, where participants present themselves in front of a panel of judges in hopes that they will be given the bar's title. Most winners have gone on to compete into the International Mr. Leather, with 2 Mr. Ramrods winning the international title and 7 others ranking in the top 10. Sunday, October 12th, saw this year's competition. 4 contestants presented themselves to the panel of judges: Mack Mackenzie, Pup Lucky, Asher, and Dr. Jessie. The event was hosted by a friend of the network, Elimination, who said this about the contest, quote, "We had a wonderful class of 4 humans willing to share of themselves in front of the South Florida community. Each brought something special to the stage, and we are forever thankful of their vulnerability, authenticity, and presence," end quote. The contestants included people from various parts of the community, from a doctor to a non-binary leather pup and a local singer. Ramrod's general manager, Chad Bush, said, quote, "The family of Ramrod is very happy to announce that Dr. Jessie Nicholson is our new 2026 Mr. Ramrod. We had an amazing array of contestants covering many aspects of our diverse LGBTQ plus community. Although they were all worthy of taking the title, we are so happy to have Dr. Jessie representing Ramrod this year," end quote. As queer spaces across the country continue to close, it is important to maintain spaces where most marginalized members of our community, including the transgender individuals, people of color, and even the leather community, are able to come together. Dr. Jessie, the new Mr. Ramrod, told Queer News Tonight, quote, "I am so honored and humbled to be chosen as Mr. Ramrod 2026. I appreciate the camaraderie and the support of all the contestants had for each other throughout the entire contest. Leather is about celebrating who we are, unapologetically and with pride. And I hope to welcome more people into the experience of the connection and belonging," end quote. Well, this sounds wonderful. It sounds like, this is something that is a little, I don't have much knowledge in terms of the leather community, so it's just not my area. But I'm happy to see that even another segment within our community is diversifying and opening up, to other people. I know trans people have entered into this bar with open arms. So it's so wonderful that they're representing a spectrum from our community, and that we're in there. And congratulations to the new Mr. Ramrod, Dr. Jessie. That sounds wonderful.
I wonder if he's really a doctor.
You never know. I have to go look him up now.
Wow, right. I love that. So Ramrod has been around for a while. I mean, I think you said 1994. That's a long time,
31
right?
years.
And, if that pool table could talk, I'll leave that at that for you folks who know, the fact that a lesbian woman can tell you that kind of tea just tells you about Ramrod, right? Everyone is welcomed at Ramrod. You can go there at 3 p.m. and have a real low-cost cocktail and talk to the bartender and have a great time. You could also go there after 1 a.m. for a pig dance on a different day and meet other people, right? A couple of years back when I first started at Queer News Tonight, I worked with a colleague, Elimination Onyx, who was the host of the event over the weekend. And I was curious about the leather community. It wasn't my scene either, right? But I was curious about it, right? And my first part was like, are there black and brown people in the leather community? And he was like, there are. I'm going to show you, I asked the questions, right? And I got the wonderful answers in return from David Hopkins and also Elimination. Black and browns are represented. They're represented in a big way in the leather community. And it intersects with poly people. It intersects with so many other communities that you walk into Ramrod and you will see inclusivity from a trans person, right? Male or female, either one, right? You will see a bear on this side. You will see somebody with a harness over here. You'll see a lesbian over there. Like, it boggles my mind that all these people are in the same room at 4 o'clock in the afternoon having a great time. You know what I mean? And I think that speaks to the longevity of Ramrod. If you mention to anybody out of state Ramrod, they've heard of Ramrod. You know what I mean? And that, that speaks volumes when we have so many of our spaces that are closing down. You know what I mean? It's on the drive. It's still, it's not an easy rent to have, and they've got the recipe down pat to make sure our community's seen, that they still are able to pay rent, pay their, whatever they got to pay, and keep everything affordable. It blows my mind.
And really they still support a lot of nonprofits too. I know they hold a lot of events there too. So they're also a really big staple in this community. And speaking of someone that when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was in New York and in these scenes and stuff, I actually would go into a bar and stuff and I thought, oh my God, this is just so not my scene. But they make it so welcoming here. It doesn't matter how you feel or what your preconceived notions might be, but just try it out. That's the best way to do it. Just conquer the fear and go on in.
Well, someone who is part of the leather community, which I love. When I moved down here, that was the first bar that I went to and felt so welcomed because I was so used to the bars in the Midwest. And before I moved down to Indiana, they had closed our leather bar. So it was a matter of finding one here. And the Eagle hadn't opened here at that point, the one that we have. So they were just so welcoming. And the leather community is great because you're right. They welcome everybody. I mean, it's not just LGBTQ. I mean, a very large heterosexual community is part of the leather community as well. And the men that compete for International Mr. Leather, I mean, part of this is kind of like we think about going on to Florida pageant, right? And they go on to Continental and things like that. Mr. International is that for the leather community.
IML.
Right. IML is, I mean, I've been to many of them. I love it. 2 of my dear friends have been winners of IML, and they teach people that come into this community a lot about leadership and about being authentic and about, holding yourself accountable. Because they don't want to have people in this community. It's about leadership, and they don't need people being understanding.
They also instill in people to educate other people.
Right.
That right there speaks volume.
Yes.
Every level of contestant has to have a platform, and so many remote platforms, almost all education of some sort. It's from homeless to HIV to relationships, so many different platforms. Actually, Ramrod is one of the places, Carvel and I will go anywhere in the city.
Did you say you'll go anywhere? Is that what you said?
Carvel and I go out a lot.
Oh, of course.
We'll go to Ramrod just as comfortable as we are there at Hunter's. Probably more so than in Johnson's, because it's too expensive, but still.
And let's be real, all those boys are straight.
Exactly, that part.
But Matt will make sure that we're welcome there. We're rushed to welcome the Ramrod. And, there were 2 people who have doctors are in International Leather over its history. 2 people who actually are medical doctors in IML history. There have been transgender people as International Leather and disabled people.
Wow.
Several brown people as well. International Leather, this represents that's why Ramrod contestants have been 2 title holders from there.
That's inclusivity. Yeah. That right there. If you have a question as to what's inclusivity, that's it.
It's best to the world.
I love that. Well, congratulations to Dr. Jessie, our new Mr. Ramrod. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.